Hello, I'm Tom Harmer, your County Administrator. Welcome to this edition of Inside View. Our guest today is Sarah Beth Kalajian. She's the Director of our Library System and Historical Resources. Thank you for joining me today.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Yes, I want to start right off, nothing to do with Sarasota County government, but just a question about your background and how your journey and how you ended up here in Sarasota County.
It was a bit meandering in terms of a journey. So as an undergraduate, I got really into journalism and was a news reporter and writer. So shortly after my graduation, I continued in news writing and producing, then took a little turn in education and got a master's of education and worked at a college, operating the radio and television station and teaching. Worked for a school district then, setting up media centers. And then I decided to move to Florida and thought I would try out those public libraries.
And so how long ago was that?
It was 30 plus years.
Wow. And with Sarasota County?
I have been with Sarasota County all those years.
And the library system with Sarasota County all those years?
Yes, it was amazing to me because my careers before that were in about 4-year increments. But then I really enjoyed the work here. I found it challenging and rewarding.
And so what was your first position with the library system?
I worked at the Venice Public Library as the Youth Services Librarian.
Okay, very good. And now you're the director and you oversee the entire system as well as our historical resources.
What a privilege it is to work with such creative, talented folks.
Is there anything about your personal background that you'd like to share, some special bit of information that not everyone knows?
Well, I think one of the things people do know is I have family in Colorado, so I try and spend some time that way. And my brother bought me a horse a couple of years ago, so I have a horse, but it is in Colorado.
Okay, well, good. Well, thank you for joining me today. Why don't you explain a little bit to our viewers what the Director of Library and Historical Resources does?
Well, sometimes I describe it as keeping the plates spinning. There are a lot of different activities and very diverse activities. But in a nutshell, our mission in both libraries and historical resources is lifelong learning, historic education and preservation. And so we look into the community. We're very responsive to our customers. We want to give the very best customer service we possibly can. And then we partner with lots of organizations and agencies. We also really enjoy great collaboration internally with other county departments. And so I think people have noticed that libraries in particular are evolving in new ways. A little bit of the traditional services, but lots of new services as well.
Well, I know I'm always impressed when I hear the percentage of people in our community who have a library card, because I'm still one that I like to hear the newspaper hit the driveway every morning and go out and read it. But in this digital age, I know it's a changing area for us, and how do we meet the needs and desires of our customers and the public?
So I think we're blending the best of that. Nearly 74%, I think it's right at 74% of Sarasota County residents are card-carrying library users.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It is. So we see folks who really enjoy coming into a library and browsing, also going to concerts and discussion groups. Parents still love bringing their kids to activities and borrowing lots of books. So people like to be in the library building, but almost equally the number of people who don't come into the building, who download digital content, look at our website and find all the resources they need there.
And you also have technology in the library, so someone can come in and use a computer and get on the internet and apply for a job.
I think that was one of our big evolutions. During some economic downturns, folks say in tough times, libraries are really essential, and they are. Folks are coming in if they no longer have internet access. They apply for jobs. Almost every service or benefit that you get these days, you apply online. So when you come to the library, you not only have access to the technology, but very important, you have access to knowledgeable, caring, very supportive staff who will help you navigate all of those processes.
Well, and I know we're in hurricane season, and we have some experience under our belt recently, But part of that relates to the libraries. I know we made a concerted effort to open up county business as soon as possible after the recent storm, but also opening up libraries as fast as we could. And I was impressed when we opened up Selby Library as the first one, how quickly people responded.
Absolutely. One of the things we've learned from our colleagues in other library systems where there have been disasters is that people really appreciate not only the services, so it's air conditioning and technology and powering up their devices, but also that return to a sense of normalcy and a routine and seeing other people. So
Yes.
the library is really a social hub that connects people who perhaps are in Sarasota living far away from family.
Yes. Now, why don't you share a little bit about the number of libraries that we have currently throughout the county?
So it's exciting. We have 9 branches so far, and in October we will open our 10th branch, and that project is one that I have been looking forward to for a very long time.
Well, for good reasons. It's really a public partnership.
That's right.
Yes.
So having a background in school media services, I was always keeping an eye out for an opportunity to partner with our school district, and this Suncoast Technical College was just the ideal opportunity. And so the Shannon Staub Public Library will be on the campus of the Suncoast Technical College, and then there's also a partnership with the City of Northport for a conference center there. We're so very privileged to have received some funding from the state legislature.
So which is really great news. And I know you're also working on the new library in Venice. It's a replacement library, but it's been a pretty big project for us. And you've spent a lot of time making sure that that moves forward.
It is, and I think we all became even more deeply aware of what a library means to a community. And so we involved, with both projects, we've involved community members in a very deep way to tell us, what did you like about services? What would you like to see? Dream with us a little bit. And that project is very exciting. We've got the design, and we'll break ground for that in late October.
I know we had to close down the existing library, but you quickly opened up a temporary library, which is providing full services to the Venice on the island now.
It is, and that it didn't happen just by accident. I will tell you, your theme of one team within Sarasota County, I'm not sure there has ever been quite a more appropriate example of how that happened. Every single department in the county came to our aid to get that temporary location up and going.
Well, and it was also in close cooperation with the city. I know I had conversations with the city manager, Ed Lavallee, and everyone worked together. The lease signing, the construction project to renovate the building, the opening, and all the other things associated with that. You mentioned one team, but I think when you were doing the input stage of the new library in Venice, it was amazing to see all of the employees from all the departments out there staffing the flip charts and talking to the public. So we had people from not just libraries, but Parks and Rec and planning and just all different departments all over the organization. That was nice to see.
We did. Those partnerships at so many levels are, I think, what really sets Sarasota County apart. And it makes our job so much not only easier, but pleasant, because we build these relationships. We depend on folks, and they depend on us, and a project like this really comes together.
So you've been plenty to keep you busy, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes. So are there any fun facts that you would like to share with our viewers about the system?
Well, I think one of the things is we have some unusual activities, especially this summer. We, at the library branches, we fed over 4,200 people at daily lunches at several of our libraries. We distributed thousands of food packs, and that was a close partnership, again, with the school district and All Faiths Food Bank. Approximately 10,000 people a day visit either historical resources or the libraries. So that's pretty astounding and keeps us busy.
Yes, yes.
That percentage of library cards, I think, is one that we repeat over and over again, because it's definitely ranked above state and national statistics. So we bring that one out and,
Yes.
and
You should.
talk
No,
about
that
that.
is right.
right?
So we talked a lot about libraries. What about historical resources? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what a great organization. Rob Bendis is our manager there, and he previously was with the state. So their purpose is to preserve our wonderful history and also to educate local folks and do outreach so that we learn from the past and can inform us about the future. The center that they have on Porter Way is filled with all kinds of realia and memorabilia, newspapers, all kinds of records that folks who are doing projects or just want to learn about local history would find fascinating.
So the public can go out there?
They can, and again, just like in the libraries, the folks who are at Historical Resources are knowledgeable, helpful. They really look forward to folks coming in and giving them a tough question. Right.
And when I like to tie in with libraries and historical resources, I think when you think about the history and information, I think that's a good fit.
One of the themes nationally with both of those organizations is being part of the fabric of the education of the community, and I think both of those divisions within our department fulfill that role.
Yes, I agree. Customer service is really important to the county. How does the library fit in with that?
So it's really astounding because when you think that anyone and everyone comes to the public library, and their questions can be as far-ranging as you can imagine. We tell each other sometimes some of the unusual things that are kind of the stumpers. But when someone comes in, it's our job to respond, to listen carefully to what they're really looking for, and then to respond with the best resources to help that person pursue their individual goals. That lifelong learning piece, that's really at the heart of our customer service.
Good, good. And it reflects in all the comments and feedback that we receive, I think the board receives, and I know you receive as well.
Yeah, our managers are key to setting the tone for that, for sure. And they're out in the community, so when we hear from the community the kinds of things that are of interest to them, we can quickly theme some of our services to coincide.
I know we've covered a lot of information, but how would the public find out more about your department?
So the county website is probably the best and most convenient way, and then 861-5000 is the phone number where we direct everyone if they have a question. We'll be happy to answer your questions and to help you find just the right item.
Good. Now, if there was one message you wanted to leave everyone with, what would it be?
Well, I do think the lifelong learning is the core. So it's from the very youngest child learning to read and exploring their world through every stage in someone's life. Both Historical Resources and the libraries have the kinds of resources that can help someone, and the staff who are dedicated to that.
Well, thank you for what you do, and thank you for sharing it with us today. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Inside View.